And kind of like, touching on, the whole being invited to the cookout thing, like you got a lot of love, especially from like, the black community. Like this is a big part of your audience. Like, where does, how does that like, make you feel, being like widely accepted, by not just, a white fan base, but just like any fan base in general?
I mean, I've always been widely accepted in every group that I go into because I am authentic. And as people know me longer and longer, at first maybe it might be, you might say, oh, he's playing, he's whatever. Them just me, like literally all the time. And when I come down, I'm in the district, I might be the only white guy in the whole place. But I'm not, I'll never say I don't see color. Everybody sees color. But I just see us all as people. You know what I'm saying? So if you walk around like there's something wrong, people are gonna say, it sets people's energy off, it sets your energy off. But I don't have that energy. I have the energy that I can walk into any room and have no hate in my heart for nobody, and I think they can feel that, and vice versa, and we vibe. And you know what? It's funny because people ask me, they say, man, how do you deal with the comments? How do you deal with the stuff? And you know what? It's not true. It's angry people. It's angry people that are probably at home on a couch wishing they could be somewhere dancing and smiling and laughing and having a good time, right? Because when I come out to DC or PG or anywhere that I go, I've never had a problem, nothing but love. And I show nothing but love. You know what I mean? And I think that is it didn't surprise me because I've never had that issue. I've always been just a fun guy. I'm a fun guy. I like to have fun. I don't care who I'm having fun with. I can go to Amish country and have a good time. You know what I mean? I can go to a quinceañera and have a good time. I'm dancing, whatever, So it wasn't that shocking to me.
So with, the comedy that you do now and all the different, platforms and avenues that you on, talk about, the hybrid show and like how you got involved in that.
So the hybrid show is with my guy E. He's the lead singer of the T.O.B. band, right? And, I started out coming up in the go-go world, and I was going to all the go-go's, meeting all the bands, whatever. So me and him started talking. We have a lot in common. We had a good rapport, right? And he was already doing the hybrid show for a couple of years. He wanted to add a sports segment. He was on another podcast also, the Man Cave, that I did one time, right? And like I said, we had a good rapport. So he hit me. He's like, I keep asking people, they're flaking out. Would you like to do one time sports segment? I'm like, yeah, let's do it, whatever. I'm always down to work. Like I told them, I don't sleep, I work. I work whether it's my career, at the gym, with the kids, whatever, I work. That's just all I do. So I went and did it one day, and man, it was great. We got some good viewers, some good feedback. I mean, the thing about it is anything that I do it seriously. So when I'm going into a sports talk show, for the 3-4 days, I'm not just watching sports, I'm listening to the sports podcast, I'm writing things down, I'm taking notes. So when I come to the table, I know what I'm talking about. It's not two guys in their kitchen, just giving their opinions, you know what I'm saying? So it worked out well. I mean, we're still building on it. We're gonna do some more actually taped content, branch off into some other subjects besides sports, because it gives a great perspective coming from, a white guy from Montgomery County and a African-American guy from Northeast. You know what I'm saying? Like, almost two different worlds, but we have a common, connection, and we can talk about real issues.
So do you feel like the hybrid show has kind of like helped you gain a little bit more following?
Yeah, I mean, definitely more love. I definitely get more love. I mean, I don't know, I don't really look at, we don't have astrological numbers right now. We're not doing crazy numbers, but I look at it like it's a good connection, and we are working and getting better. Like when you watch the first show that we did to the show that we did, it's just like with the stand-up comedy. Like I said, getting your chops, learning each other's rhythm, like you do in sports or anything like that, learning each other's rhythm, how to go back and forth, how to not talk over each other, right? So you mature as I've been doing this. I've learned to mature in those ways, going back and looking back at my first podcast, the way I was talking. Sometimes I talk too fast. My mind moves real, I got to say, hey, slow down. It's okay. You're not in a rush. But it's definitely helped me in the sense that I could sit down and talk to somebody in a podcast format type thing and really, like I said, get my timing down and work on being on camera.
So with the DMV scene or the DMV comedy scene, first off, like, what's your take on it? Like, how do you feel about the comedians here? Like, do you feel like y'all are like, kind of, making this a hot area, kind of like,
Absolutely,
Atlanta and
man.
all the other places?
We got some great guys right now, and we got some guys from the area that a lot of people don't even know are from the area, like Ari Shafir, Brian Simpson is from PG County, real big time comedians, but you got Davy, You got Terry Goofys. Man, those I like what those guys are doing a lot. And they're doing big things, man. They're selling out shows. They're hustling. I know Goofys did a stint, I think it was with Martin Lawrence. And like for people that are not my age, I'm older, man. Martin Lawrence, like what that means, like what Martin Lawrence was in the stand-up community back when he did You So Crazy with the whole leather outfit, man. Oh my goodness, I must have watched that 100 times. But so getting to do any type of stuff with Martin Lawrence, that's legendary. That's big. My biggest thing is I feel like, so I told you I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, right? And you see the guys that he deals with, you know, Shane Gillis, Brian Simpson, Ari Shaffir, all those guys, Mark Norman, right? They went down there to Austin and they have a comedy community where they all do each other's podcasts and they do each other's skit shows and they go on each other's shows and do all this stuff together, right? And it's built up an empire down there where you got so many great comedians, because comedians need community. You got to have other comedians, because we really don't think like other people. Like I say, when I'm making somebody laugh, like I say, off the wall shit. Not, you know what I mean? Just when I tell a story, I'll add some off the wall shit to it just to make it good, make it funny, make everybody laugh. And when you have iron sharpens iron, so when you have other killers, assassins, real comedians with the boom, 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 where you can, you know, bounce off each other, man, that's really important. I wish it was more of a comedy community here, because we have a lot of funny people, a lot of talent, you know. That's the biggest thing. Open mics, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have a ton of open mics where you can go in and get on the mic, and even if you bomb, you know. So for me, community is the only thing I would improve, but we got a lot of funny guys, a lot of funny people come out of this area.
How, with, you know, it being so much talent, how do you try to, you know, kind of like stand out from other comedians, you know, to kind of like create your own identity?
Well, again, like I said, I feel like I'm a unique guy. So if it makes me laugh, I feel like it's gonna make people laugh. I'm a real observationalist. So I don't really look at it like that. I look at me as being my biggest competition. You know what I mean? I've always had supreme confidence in myself. And I think that's another thing that's helped me kind of blend in with the whole community, where, you know, having the confidence in myself to be able to do the things that I say I'm gonna do, be the person that I am, you know? You just be yourself, be authentic, and it goes a long way. People can tell when you're faking it. People can tell when you're faking it. Maybe not everybody, but most people, when you're faking it, they can tell, for sure.
How do you handle, like, I know you kind of touched on it earlier, you said you don't really, you know, interact with the, you know, negative comments or whatever, but like when you get like, you know, negativity from like, you know, whether it be like a fan or something like that, how do you like deal with that, you know? Like?
Well, it depends. So I don't, like I said, I don't ever go on there and be like, no, you're a bitch. So listen, I've never been in the streets. That's an often misconception that I get. Because I said I hung out in D.C., I got friends in D.C., people are like, you weren't in the street. No, I wasn't in the streets. I never said I was a gangster. I never said I was in the streets. I was never none of that. You know, you don't have to be in the streets to be in D.C. Like, you can just come there and go to the zoo or whatever, you know. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So I don't argue back and forth with them. I'm not about that rah-rah fighting shit, right? Every once in a while, just to, you know, as like a sparring thing for me, I'll go back and forth with somebody, but not in a negative way, but in a playful comedy way. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of busting their chops, joning on them like that. But I just don't let it bother me, man. Like, listen, I'm blessed to have gotten as far and gotten all the love that I got so far, and some of the things that I've gotten to do, it's crazy. Like, I never thought I would get to do. Man, I was on the stage with New Impressions. I've been on stage with Jata and T.O.B. Like, things that I never thought I would do, right? So if it ended all right now, you know what I mean? I'm winning. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. So I just look at it like I'm gonna just keep rolling, doing what I'm doing, and let the cards fall how they fall. You know what I mean? I like to keep my whole mental flushed of negativity, so I don't try to dwell on the stuff too much.
Who are some of the, and you know, we talked about comedians in the DC area or just the DMV area. Who are some of the comedians that you like collaborated with, you know, and like, you know, that you hope to collaborate with in the future? Well,
my number one collaborator, and one of the guys that really jumped out there quick and helped me out, put his arms around me and kind of showed me the ropes a little bit, is my man Anderson Hall, UDC's own. He's my guy, man. He's helped me all the way. He's super funny. And we collaborate all the time. I think we got a great chemistry, you know, and I tell everybody, man, listen, mess with us now, because yesterday's price is not today's price. I'm telling you, and we got big things going on, you know what I mean? And I think we're officially the up and comers. You know what I'm saying? What did the Source magazine used to do? What's it called? The freshman class.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, we're coming up
XL,
behind
yeah.
the other guys, but man, we got stuff coming up. But honestly, my main guy to collaborate with is Andy, but I collaborate with anybody. Like I said, I don't sleep. I'm down to work all the time. So I come to the city and I'll go boom, 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 wherever to me. But that's the hardest part, man. Everybody says they want to be a content creator till it's time to bust that tripod out and be a content creator. You know what I'm saying? Like getting people, you know, to focus. So that's one of the biggest things.
So it kind of like following up on that, like most people don't realize like how hard it is to like make content on a consistent basis. Like talk about, you know, the struggles that go into, you know, like balancing that with like a personal life and everything you got going on.
Yeah, it's difficult. It does have its pitfalls sometimes, especially with me having 2 kids and a wife, you know what I mean? Because honestly, it's not a full-time job in the sense where I'm clocking in and go, but at all times I'm thinking about, is that funny? Oh, what could that be? Oh, remember that? You know what I mean? You're always thinking about this, do I need to write this down, memo, whatever. And you also got to be conscious of what's going on with the trends and stuff on Instagram, TikTok, and whatever the other platforms you might be on. It's difficult, and I think what I've always lived by the saying, works in my house might not work in your house. So, you know, I could give a whole bunch of advice, but in all honesty, man, you got to navigate that just the best way you can. I try to limit my content creating to either times when I come down to DC or when I'm at the gym. But like I said, the problem is you're always checking. You gotta, you know, you're looking at this, looking at that, thinking about that. So sometimes it'll preoccupy your mind. You just gotta take some time. I take time where I just sit my phone down and put it on the charger and turn the ringer off and just take time away, like blank out from my phone. And it's not easy, but you gotta do it.